When it comes to consuming anime, or any form of media for that matter, we always want the best. We always seek out the best, and we always want to be provided with the best quality that there is. Now that is of course very obvious given the fact that we all try to want the best in media, but there are some of us that want the worst of the worst, the bottom of the barrel, the true bottom feeders of what true creativity could provide. And there are people out there that are even crazy enough to really delve to that trenches to see what is really the pinnacle of true bad. My name is Mise Kurosaki, and today I want to do just that. I am starting a series where I am looking for the worst anime of all time, or at the very least, my opinion. And I am ready to delve through the trenches of exactly what the bottom of anime has to offer. Now, obviously, there are some of you that just want to go ahead and look at the anime. That's perfectly fine. There are timestamps and chapters in the video for you to just skip the gobbledygook that I'm about to speak. But for those of you who are truly more interested, let me go ahead and tell you my criteria in finding some of these anime. When looking for some of these anime, I went across 3 sites: My Anime List, AniList, and IMDb. And in order to be talked about within this series, I decided that at least 2 of the sites have to have the anime lower than a 5. Not at a 5, but lower at a 5. So any anime that is 4.99 and lower will be qualified to be talked about on this list, as long as My Anime List, AniList, or IMDb have it at that level. Or rather, 2 of the 3 sites of those lists. And the only time that this ever gets unwritten is if there's an anime that was lower than a 3, but still maintains only around a 5 when it comes to the other sites. And of course, if any of you feel compelled to go ahead and send me some anime suggestions to watch that are really, really bad and really, really deplorable, go ahead and send them my way. My only true rule is we're excluding shit in the likes of Redo a Healer and Boku no Pico. I'm sorry, I don't want to be put on a fucking list, so I'm not doing that. Besides, those get put in like their own different category. Well, I've definitely yapped about enough nonsense for one time. How do you say we dive into the world of anime's bottom feeders? Okay, so if you've been following the channel for a minute now, you would know that this is actually an anime that I've talked about, that I reviewed a few years ago. Listen, I've watched some bad anime, so at the very least, I should start with some of the anime that I've already reviewed. This makes things a lot easier, okay? And if it makes you feel better, I did go ahead and rewatch some of these. I did not have fun rewatching a lot of these. But yes, we are starting with the big hitter today, as the first anime on our entire list is going to be X-Arms. Yeah, I'm not, this is just awful. This is just bad. This is not good. At the time of recording this, X-Arms sits at a 2.8 on Mal, a 21% average on AniList, and a 1.8 on IMDb. My god, those are atrocious fucking numbers. And would I go ahead and say that after rewatching some of X-Arms and watching it twice over now, yes, it's deserved. Yes, this anime sucks, man. Again, I'm not even gonna go into the details about how like the actual manga for it is pretty good and that this adaptation just completely fucked any potential that it had. You can go ahead and check my video from like 2 to 3 years ago talking about that, but just in the vacuum of anime, this is just awful. And keep in mind, this anime didn't bankrupt a whole studio, but at least the people who made it, Visual Flights, definitely sat there and said, ha! Fuck, we're not touching anime again, ever. I mean, the story was just completely rushed. The animation is some of the worst I've seen in my entire fucking life. Nothing about this anime is ever redeemable, other than the fact that it's at least funny to watch with friends. And I actually want to make a correction earlier, because I was looking at my script and I realized how much of a just butt fumble this was. It wasn't just the studio. Everybody involved with this, from directors to studios to people just working on it, who tried to make this a new venture, basically fucked off back to their old realms and said, yeah, never mind, we're never doing this again. This anime was so impactfully bad that Crunchyroll's adventure into making originals was stopped by this and High Garden Spice. And I wish I could talk about High Garden Spice, but unfortunately it doesn't have any records on AniList or Mal. Oh, don't worry though, I'm planning on talking about that in a future video. It was so impactfully bad it stumped the manga, which was actually pretty okay and doing somewhat passable for itself. Do you see how big of a flop XR? I talked about this in the video. I could go on and talk about how bad it is when it comes to the bad voice acting, the terrible direction, the horrible animation, the structure of a story, and how bungled that is, how fast it goes, how nonsensical everything sounds, how they try to do different styles and it doesn't fucking work at all. And there's so much about it that's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. And the only reason I wanted to talk about it first is A, to get it out of the fucking way, but B, to at least put it first, because I know it's going to be first, because it might not stay first for long, because it actually might get dethroned this video. We'll see. I actually left this script ended open because the anime that I'm going to be talking about is so awful that I'm going to have to actually deliberate on screen in the moment. We'll see how I feel though. Let's move on to the next one. We got to calm down a little bit because the next anime that we're going to talk about is Pupa. And at the time of recording this video, it currently sits with a 3.2 on Mal, a 27% on AniList, and a 2.8 on IMDb. And I'm gonna sound like a fucking crazy person when I say this, but I don't hate Pupa. Now I know for a lot of you that sounds fucking insane because you look at it and you're just like, what the fuck, Mise? This isn't good, and you're right. It's not. In the current state that Pupa is, it's not. But to say that there's nothing there, that I would fight on that. There's something here with Pupa. At the very least, foundationally, Pupa is an actual interesting story when it comes to abuse and trying to stick with one another and having to go over that trauma. It is told horribly in the anime, and I thought this was an anime only issue, but I actually read the manga. It's actually a pretty faithful adaptation, which okay, sure, I always kind of thought that wasn't the case, but fuck me. And at the very least, this is one of the anime that's going to be on this long list of crap that actually has a pretty big positive in my eye. The actual horror design of everything that's made in this is actually pretty well done. As a matter of fact, I think everything aesthetically is actually really well pleasing to the eye when it comes to Pupa. It's just, my god, is the story just awful. It also was just really badly shafted given the fact that each episode is like 4 minutes. And I assume that was the case just because every anime back then around 2014 needed every single anime to be either 12 or 24 episodes at the very least. So obviously with it being a short story and not having that much going for it, you can't really, go ahead and actually do that. And it's gonna sound crazy, but Pupa is actually one of those anime that I would advocate to be made in the new era. Especially nowadays where anime quality has just gotten a lot better and you could tell chunkier stories, and anime is okay with going out with stuff that's like 8 to 10 episodes. That would work in Pupa's favor. It's one of those really bad situations in my eyes where it has a really good art direction and a really good foundation, but everything built else on top of that is just completely garbage. It has quality. It's not devoid of quality, but it definitely deserves where it needs to be, unfortunately. But let it be known, I am probably the one and only person who would advocate for a remake of Pupa, because if it came out today, I actually think it could climb out of this shitter list and actually be at least well decent. And you know what, I will say this, crazy stuff has happened in the anime industry. But with that, let's move on to the next show. Momo is the next anime that we're going to be talking about, and that one has a 3.8 on my anime list, a 30% average on AniList, and a 4.8 on IMDb. And I will admit, going back to watch Wonder Momo and then coming back to my review that I made like a few years ago, I don't understand why I was so offended at this. Like, if you actually go back to the video that I did the review on, I was weirdly upset at this. I don't know what changed in the last couple of years. Maybe I chilled out a lot. That could really be a big thing, honestly. But when it comes to watching this again, I thought it was mostly inoffensive. Now, let me be clear, when I mean inoffensive, I don't mean that it would still have some quality. It deserves the score it gets, don't get me wrong, but nothing I would shout out being like, my god, this offended me like I did in the video. It was mostly just acknowledgement of, yeah, this is not great, or at the very least, that cheesy 2000s quality. It's actually funny, I would probably put it in the same realm as Pupa, but definitely lower. where Pupa itself actually had a lot that I think could repair it to actually being something worthwhile, Wonder Momo is something I think is kind of a lost cause, if not could just be a slightly below average anime. And that's because, at least with Pupa, you could see that there was an attempt to actually try, but nothing really was clicking, and there seems to be just a bunch of mistakes made. Versus Wonder Momo, where it is obvious no one really cared, and this was mostly for a cash grab for the game Wonder Momo, as the anime is technically the sequel because the mother is the video game and the daughter is the one we follow in the anime, and the mother even makes an appearance, and it's a weird continuation, and you really wouldn't understand the context unless you played the video game, and I didn't even play the video game, and I tried to find the emulator, and it's actually really hard because Wonder Momo seems to be this weird, obscure thing. I'm getting completely off sidetrack. The other reason I would definitely put Wonder Momo lower is just due to the fact of how hard it stops. Wonder Momo is only about like 5 episodes, and the final episode is them invading a spaceship full of the aliens, and then that just doesn't happen. We just don't get that conclusion. It just goes and it ends, which is wild to me that was the end. And it's like, that's it? What the fuck? Maybe there's a 6th episode, I don't know, but when I went to go watch it, there wasn't, and I even went on other sites to look at it, and I couldn't find another episode after that. So if it exists, let me know, because I genuinely couldn't find it. Obviously, this is a bad anime, but in the realm of just the bottom feeder stuff, it definitely was not as inoffensive as other anime would be. With that being said, let's go to the next anime. I definitely want to end it all with this one. The next anime we're going to be talking about is dumb and fucking weird. It's called Inukai-san. And as of the time of recording, it has a 46% on AniList, a 4.4 on IMDb, and a 5 on Mal. What if everything that I talked about in this video today, does Inukai-san have a 5? It never ceases to amaze me. No matter what type of concept that you can make an anime, as long as you make it degenerate enough, the degenerates will come, and there are real ways to score. So before I get into the actual fucking conversation for a little bit, I just need to vent for a second. This anime came out in 2023, so it's our most modern anime in the video so far. And it has fucking haunted me for the entirety of my fucking career, because I thought it would be funny and bold to go ahead and actually talk about this anime on my channel years ago, when this channel was mainly doing daily anime reviews before I moved that to a different channel. Why is that still some of the best performing videos on my fucking channel? Fucking why? Not only is it some of the best performing videos on my channel, it's still getting views. It's fucking evergreen content. Fucking why? And you know what? I'm splitting the block on this fucking anime again because, oh my god, the best way I can explain this with you is take the typical type of ecchi. The ecchi where you have the main character with potential other attractive male or female characters, depending on what type of ecchis you watch, and shenanigans of the accidental variety happen. But instead of the male MC, switched it with a dog. That's it. That's it. That's all this anime is. It is quite literally the same fucking tropes that you would find on another ecchi, but it's fucking with a dog. Why? Who came up with this? Japan, why do you keep doing this? I love you, but fuck, you need to stop with this. You need to stop with the things. You need to stop with the things. Just all the things. I like the freaky. I like the thighs. I like the pupas. I like the things. I like the butts. But why with this anime? Why? Just why with this? Just fucking why with this anime? And you know what? I could give it a pass. I could genuinely just say it if that was the case, because at the end of the day, it's just typical accidental oopsie daisy fucking shenanigan shit of ecchi, I can't even say it right, with ecchi when it comes to the show, except it's with a dog. Weird, to put it arguably, and I can't believe I'm saying this, not the worst thing to come out of Japan. But what makes this 10 times worse is the main girl. And oh my god, is she something. Because she is the one who takes in the dog. Who, by the way, is a transformed human, by the way. Just thought I'd point that out there. But she does take in the dog because the dog ends up becoming stray. And she tries to care for the dog. And she loves the dog. Really loves the dog. likes the dog a little bit too much. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Bro, everybody else in these anime is kind of like, fine, whatever. You play it up as an accident, it's the game, fun, whatever. And then there's her, and then there's the main girl, and the main girl makes everything so much fucking worse. I'm not even kidding with you how bad it gets. And you know what? I have to switch my decision. Because before this, I actually did have a final verdict that I have. And I was going to put X-Arms on top of Inukai-san Dog. Because at the very least, it was drawn nicely, as bad as that sounds. The animation isn't bad, and the story is very fucking typical whatever, while X-Arms is actual abomination when it comes to actual creativity. But at the very least, I could get through X-Arms. Like, it took a lot, but I could get through X-Arms. I have not dared nor wanted to finish Inukai-san Dog, because every time I've watched an episode, I have actively just cringed and moaned and wondered, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, I sat there and chose this. I chose this. Don't worry, I'm disappointed in myself. Will this video actually ever see the light of day of me admitting that I have watched some of Inukai-san's Dog? I don't fucking know, but the fact that I'm giving this strong of a reaction, and the fact that it is already making me fucking mad, and the fact that I have to sit here and explain to myself and justify over the fact that this anime for some reason fucking exists and I live in the same world as this anime, I think justifies it for getting the first fucking place. Yeah, it goes without saying, yes, this is on average the highest rated show for the video. No, you should not watch this because it's ass. It's complete ass. I probably don't need to tell you that, but someone out there is going to look at this and be curious, because we're human beings. We're going to be curious. It's one of those shows that it gets to the point of typical like edgy stuff, like the whole screen's just covered in a sticker. Just don't. I didn't watch the uncensored version. I watched the censored version because I want at least some of my dignity still. So there's that. Okay, I'm done. Okay, so now that we've finished the video, let's go ahead and go through our list and see where it stands right now. It's a small list because this is our first video, but it's still nice to do. In last place, Pupa will take. In third place will be Wonder Momo. In second place, X-Arms. And our number one worst anime so far will in fact be Inukai-san's Dog. And there you have it. That wraps it up for the first video in the series of trying to find the worst anime out there. And I'm already want to be done with this. Some takeaways. I was 100% sure that X-Arm was going to be the just de facto, like, you have to put at number one. And I thought that was going to be like that for a couple of episodes until I really found something that I would consider extremely fucking terrible. I didn't think it was going to happen that fast when I found Inukai-san's Dog. And I genuinely don't know where I'm going to find the worst one, if I'm being completely honest. We might have just plateaued the series from here. Yeah, I might get shit for it, but yeah, I think Pupa probably has a lot of potential. I wish some random anime would just snatch it up from the grave and try to revive it, but again, that's wishing big, unfortunately. But at least there was something on this list, or at least this growing list that will become, that is at least somewhat positive. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one. And hey, if you guys have any submissions for really bad anime, go ahead and just put them in the comments, email me, contact me, do what you want, DM me. I want to find the worst anime out there. Like, I am not joking with you. I want to know what is the most deplorable of the deplorable. Just don't send me freak shit like Pico and Redo of Healer. I think it might be the limit. I don't know what the limit is. And I will communicate that limit in future videos. But I know right now, the hard limit is Boku no Pico and Redo a Healer. Whatever else that comes after that, not 100% sure. But go ahead, shoot your shot. I'll try to talk about them in the video, so go ahead and give me that love. But with that being said, thank you for joining me today. This is a very much different video than what I usually do. I usually sound a lot more structured, and I can't when I'm angry, so apologies. But make sure to like and subscribe for more of this content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, I guess. I'm gonna go lie down now. I'm like so gay.